At least I finally get the time to sit down and do a podcast this week. After last week's Unleashed podcast, never managed to make it to the airwaves. Welcome back, guys, to the Moore Army podcast for another week. Good morning. I'm recording this podcast here on Tuesday morning. A very cold, frosty, and could I say, I know we're on a family-friendly podcast here, ball-freezing morning. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm currently sat down here this morning after finishing my second cup of coffee at 9:10 in the morning. Just looking out my window of my home here, and everywhere is pure white with frost this morning. Now, parts of Northern Ireland do have snow this morning. Woke up this morning, checked the old social media feeds as usual, and to see a lot of people across Northern Ireland, some parts of Northern Ireland actually have snow, even the UK as well. So yeah, if you have snow in your area, guys, be careful out there. It is very, very cold. But yes, welcome back to the Moore Army podcast for another week. Before we go any further, guys, I want to apologise for no episode last week for the Unleashed version of the podcast. What a week it has been since the last time I spoke to you on the podcast last Tuesday. It's just been complete hecticness. I've explained that on the vlog as well. It's just been absolutely chaotic with work and travelling to Warren Point last Saturday as well, just trying to find time to get the podcast recorded, and it hasn't happened, so I'm sat here today on this Tuesday morning after another busy Monday yesterday. Busy all day yesterday. I put a video up on social media yesterday. I went out for another walk yesterday. I was thinking to myself, right, I'll go out and try and maybe come back and do a one-off, maybe Monday edition of the Unleashed podcast. But whenever I got home, when I got home, I never got a chance to get that done either. So I'm finally sitting down here on this Tuesday morning to get this done and get it in the can and get another one episode done and get moving on to the rest of my day, because I've got another busy day ahead of me today. But I just wanted to come on for a couple of seconds and apologise for no podcast last Thursday. So I will make sure that this Thursday's episode is a better episode, because obviously I didn't put one out last Thursday, so I do apologise for that, guys. So a lot of you have been contacting me on social media, whatever, so I do apologise. But anyway, I hope you're all keeping well out there since I last spoke to you. What a busy few days it's been. But before I get into more discussion about what I want to talk about on the podcast today, because I got some interesting stuff I want to talk about today. I've had a few big things happening over the last week or so since we last spoke to you. But before we get into that, I obviously want to get through the usual scenarios I like to do here on the podcast every week before I move on. We want to talk about. Let's get the housekeeping done, as I like to call it. So, guys, if you're new to the Moore Army podcast for the first time, or you're a regular listener, which a lot of you out there are, if you want to get in touch with the Moore Army podcast for any questions, which a lot of you do, any subjects you'd like to hear me talk about or anything out there, you can get in touch with us by email, first of all, which is moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, social media, which is the first of all Facebook page, Moore Army YouTube channel on Facebook. Please drop a like on that. A lot of you are following that page still, but not liking the page. Don't know why you're doing it, but you're just... please drop a like on the page. I'd appreciate it. Instagram, where you can contact me on Instagram, which a lot of you, that's the main place a lot of you do contact me on. Official Matthew Moore on Instagram. Just going through some of your messages there. Last night, when I was in bed, before I went to bed, I went to sleep last night, I was pulling the phone out and had a look through some of the messages and replied to a lot of you last night. So if you do wake up this morning to a message from me, good morning. It's official Matthew Moore on Instagram. And of course, the main place to get all your Moore Army merchandise and all your main hub for the Moore Army. Check out all our photographs on social media. Everything that we do is all available on the Moore Army website, which is moorearmy.co.uk. It's moorearmy.co.uk. Anyway, as I said, you've just sat down here with my second cup of coffee this morning. I'm looking out the window here, and it is absolutely ball freezing this morning. Brooke and Lewis left for school there about, 30 minutes ago. So I got up this morning and feeling quite tired again this morning still. First unsettled night's sleep I've had in quite a while since I started doing this diet thing, guys. We were sort of cutting back the crap and going out for a couple of walks during the week and, trying to get more active than what I've been the last few months. And it's actually working alright, to be honest with you, but last night was the first night in a while I've actually had a very unsettled night's sleep. So I got up this morning, as usual, got myself sorted out for my day, 2 cups of coffee, and I sat myself down here this morning and thought, right, I'll get the podcast recorded, get it out of the way, and once I get that out of the way, then I can move on to get the rest of my day on the go. Plus today, guys, I got people coming out to my house today as well. Got a gas man coming out today to do the usual yearly check on the boiler, and also got a guy coming out to measure up for new blinds for the house because we're going to get our house fixed up. Just recently, guys, been putting a bit of money away and stuff like that there, and trying to save up for bits and bobs to be done to the house. The house needs a bit of a facelift, so the plans at the minute is to obviously get downstairs, bit of a fresh look to it. I'm going to put a new floor in, get a fresh coat of paint done, get everything sort of up to scratch. Just do a bit of work around the house and then head upstairs and get my lovely teenage children's rooms redecorated, because obviously they're growing up too quick now, so obviously they get their rooms modernised into more of a teenage style look to it instead of obviously what they have at the minute, because they're not babies anymore. So it's put a bit of money away recently, guys, bits and bobs here and there to try and save up for a few things that need to be done around the house and stuff. So yeah, I'm getting the work started here in the next week or so, which is going to be fun. But obviously it's going to improve the home. So guys come out here today, try and get new blinds put in the windows and try and get some stuff to freshen up the place a little bit. So you know what it's like whenever obviously you've had things done for a few times, and anybody out there who watches my vlogs regularly knows over the years when we first moved into this property, we didn't have very much money. We were very sort of struggling to get by and whatever else, but we're doing all right now. So I thought to myself, something, start put a bit of money away here and we'll start getting the place modernised and whatever else. So funny enough, actually, we'll talk about that. Last night, Brooke was working last night and she comes in from work and she says to me, what are you going to do in my bedroom, Dad, whenever you move out? When I move out. And I gave her all these really random, stupid suggestions, and she just looked at me and went, Dad, you wouldn't dare do that in my room. You want to bet? She actually turned around and said to me, you'd probably turn my room into a gaming room or something. No, I'm waiting for both of you to move out so I could turn your room into a guest room and Lewis's room into a gaming room for your dad. And she just looked at me and she went, Dad, you're not funny. And I did make some more stupid suggestions. And she comes to me and goes, if I ever come back to visit and you've turned that room into that there, I will be not happy with you. I was like, well, what are you going to do about it? You don't live here no more. You'll be gone. So I was just sort of having a laugh and joke with her last night when she came in from work last night. But it's kind of strange though, because I was talking with her about different things last night and she's actually away today. And I'm obviously going to put a subject here, guys. I'm just sort of telling you a few stories here before I get into the main subjects I want to talk about today. But she's away today after school to get her photographs done for her provisional driving license. Like, that is scary, the fact that my daughter is actually at the age now where she can drive. Oh, it's scary, scary times. We were talking about, obviously, the summer holiday and whatever else this year. We were just chatting bits and bobs. She was saying, Daddy, I'm going to get my photographs and all done for my provisional driving license. And I'm going to myself, my God, my daughter's old enough to drive now. It's crazy. She's just growing up too quick, and we were just having a joke and laugh last night, and it was good fun to sort of lately I've been sort of cracking her up, because obviously, as you all know, guys, anybody who's a long time follower of the Moore Army on YouTube or here on the podcast or whatever it is you follow us on, Brooke will be 18 this year, and it's just complete scary, the fact that she's 18 this year. And I sort of look at her now and go, my baby girl's 18 soon, because it was about 3 or 4 nights ago I actually pulled an old bit of footage up on the laptop to show her, and it was her 5th birthday, and she was 5 that day, and she came in from school that day with a wee crown on her head, and from school because they were singing happy birthday and all to her and whatever else, and she was like, Daddy, I'm 5. I was like, I think, yeah, it was like back then when you were 5, but no, she's like, Daddy, was that really my 5th birthday? Yeah, that's you when you were 5. Scary times, like the fact that she's 18 this year. It's just scary times. And you'd think it was just yesterday when she was 5. Nice as 18. Scary times. But anyway, yes, guys. Professional driving license make me feel old. A couple of things I want to talk about on the podcast today. The world had a bit of a big loss this week. Elvis Presley's daughter passed away last Thursday in the early hours of Friday morning, which was a bit of a shocker. I want to talk about that. A lot of you's been talking to me and asking me this question. Oh my God, I don't even know why you're asking me this year again. Will I be watching the programme Love Island? No, thank you. I will not be watching. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But anyway, Love Island. A lot of you's been asking me about that on social media. What's my thoughts on Love Island this year? And don't. I don't know. But yes, the main one is Lisa Marie Presley, who passed away last Friday morning. Big loss to the world. Let's talk about that in just a wee second, guys. But just trying to maintain my composure here this morning while I'm chatting to you, because, as I said, it is only 20 past 9 in the morning. I'm sort of sitting here, sort of still trying to get my wits about me. I think another coffee may be required actually during the recording of this podcast. I'm going to answer some of your questions today as well, guys. A lot of questions. Now, I must say, though, even though I haven't had much time to record the podcast, I did sit on the bus. I just want to talk about this first of all. Lewis and I were off to Warren Point on Saturday. We were away with the football team. As you all probably know, Lewis and I travelled up and down our own football team. We were in Warren Point, which is a bit of a trek. We were there on Saturday. But on the bus on the way down, guys, I was sitting on my phone answering a lot of your Instagram messages and Facebook messages and whatever. So it was great chatting to you. A lot of you did get back to me quite quickly, which was great. I was chatting to a few of you right away, which was great to see. A lot of you were sending me messages, and I posted a photograph of Lewis and I on the bus heading down on Instagram and my own personal Facebook on our away day trip, and a lot of you were coming in saying like where he's off to today, and I was chatting to a few of you for a few minutes. So it was great to chat to a few of you on Instagram over the weekend. I was answering a lot of emails too as well. I was on my phone constantly most of the way down there by trying to grab some footage for the vlog, which I put out yesterday. But yeah, it was great chatting to you. But yes, we were at Warren Point on Saturday. Disappointing day for Warren Point for us. Unfortunately, we lost our first defeat in 6. We lost 3-1 to Warren Point, the Hornwood Builders, of course, who we were with. Good trip though, not too bad of a trip. Lewis made a good point though. It actually didn't feel as long as it normally does, but it was a pretty decent wee trip. We had a bit of crack and banter with the boys. Unfortunately, we didn't get the result we wanted, but it was a cold day in Warren Point. We didn't get home till about 8:30 or so at night because it was just a long trip. Had to come home on the train from Belfast because our friend Joe, who normally give us a lift, is no longer with the club anymore. Due to work commitments and stuff like that, Joe's had to leave the club, so we had to come home on the train. Met a lovely person who was the train conductor on the train, the girl. She was a lovely person. We're chatting away to her. Older girl, but we're having a lovely chat with her on the train on the way home. She was talking about different things and whatever else, and nice person. And she was chatting away to Lewis and whatever else. So bit of an older lady, so she was, but she was really, really pleasant and very, very nice to speak to and stuff. So, but no, Warren Point wasn't a bad old day. It was cold, but again, guys, Warren Point this time of year is bloody cold. Down around that area, just outside Newry, you got to go to Warren Point before you come to the border. It was cold, but great, beautiful scenery on the way down there, guys. If you ever get a chance to drive to Warren Point or you're ever in Warren Point, some of the views down there is just spectacular. But when we got down there, obviously greeted very well as always by the club, and had a wee sort of, they've built this thing over the last couple of years inside the grounds, like a wee sort of, how could you put it, like a bar sort of type thing, where a wee hospitality place, and inside of it looks actually really, really good. Got to speak to some of the staff at one point, but not very many, because obviously we were running around doing different things and whatever else. Lewis and I was doing the photos, and I was running around like a blue arse fly trying to do team sheets, and there was a change in the warm-up. Player got hurt, and then I was doing the video of the match and live updates on social media, and just running around like a complete headless chicken at times. But unfortunately we didn't get the result we wanted, but it was a good day. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was good fun. Also, what else have I been up to since the last time I spoke to you? I'm trying to think as well. Oh yes, Lewis had a few wee issues with his electric scooter. You saw we got him at Christmas. We had to go and get that flicking thing fixed as well. That was doing my head in for a while too as well. He's only been on his scooter 3 times since he got it at Christmas. We had to take it back to the store because there was a bit of an issue with the brake pad at the front of the scooter. I was actually out yesterday with him, going back up there to collect it, and what a flipping disaster. Here's the thing, guys. I've been having this debate with Lewis for the last sort of, I don't know, since I first got him, this electric scooter. Now, a lot of you younger ones out there will listen to this and you'll say to yourself, oh, I don't need to wear this when I'm driving the scooter. Let me tell you something. The debate Lewis and I were having was, I was suggesting, well, I'm not suggesting, I'm thoroughly recommending that Lewis wears a helmet when he's driving his electric scooter. And the reason why I'm saying is because, number one, it's going fast. Number two, if he comes off the thing and smacks his head, I want him getting any severe injuries. But Lewis's debate and argument back is that he doesn't need one is because it doesn't look cool. Let me tell you something. You'll see it in the vlog that I will post today on the channel too, on our YouTube channel as well. The bottom line is, I've said this to him, I don't care if it doesn't look cool with your friends. I don't care if your teenage people at school laugh at you because of whatever it is. At the end of the day, the bottom line is, son, you need to wear a helmet when you're on that, because if you come off that at 20 odd miles an hour and you fall and bang your head, if you don't have any protection on your head, you could possibly end up with severe head injury. But obviously he's at that age where, even when I was a young lad, people who wore helmets on their bikes back in my day, was people got their ass kicked for not wearing helmets, and they were laughed at and joked at and all. Let me tell you a wee story, guys. There's a guy I went to school, the school I went to school with in Belfast when I was younger. And I heard a story about him when he was 25 years of age. He was driving his bike through Belfast, and he came off his bike over the handlebars, smacked his head on the edge of the curb, and he ended up dying. And he wasn't even going that fast. So this is why I tried to explain to Lewis. Now, yesterday we were up at Halfords picking up this electric scooter he has again, which is very, very good. Actually, I've been on this electric scooter once. I tried it once, and it was fun. But we're in the store yesterday picking it up and stuff, and actually ran into an old friend yesterday too as well, which was great to see. Old friend Ryan Rachel from donkey years ago. First met her when she tried to come into one of our trainees in our wrestling school back in the day, when I used to run the wrestling company here in Northern Ireland. And then last time I saw her in person, myself, her and Tony went to see Mick Foley, former WWE wrestler, stand-up show in the Empire Theatre in Belfast. That was a long time ago, actually, good 5 or 6 years ago. Rachel's been doing very good for herself. She was away, just catching up with her yesterday in Halfords. She's into doing all her makeup for like movies and short films and whatever else. And she told me she's been recently working with Disney, so that was pretty good. And she was doing all stuff for like short films and movies and stuff like that there, and TV shows and all that there. She's doing makeup and all for her, so fair play to her. We saw around to her yesterday in Halfords, and we were having a good catch up and stuff, and she couldn't get over the size of Brooke and Lewis. Like, she said she saw Brooke last week. She said she couldn't get over the size of her, and then she looked at Lewis and she went, oh my god, look at the size of him. But it was good catching up with her. But anyway, yes, we were in Halfords picking up Lewis's scooter, and we're having this whole debate. You'll see it in the vlog today, guys, where we're just standing there, and he was like, I don't like that one doesn't look cool. And I mean, listen, son, I don't care if it doesn't look cool or not. You're going to wear a helmet, and that's the end of it, and I don't care what you say. But I'm going to get laughed at by my friends. I couldn't give two, this is not the only podcast, I don't give two beeps, so to say, about this. You're getting a helmet, and that's the end of it. And he was like, oh, but I don't like that one doesn't fit right. It's not about what it looks like, it's how it protects your head. But even one of the guys in Halfords come over, and he was talking to him as well, and he was saying, it's different than being on a bike than an electric scooter. But I don't want to drive it because everybody's going to laugh at me. And I says, well, hold on a wee second here. You used to drive, well, you still do now and again. You had a wee normal wee scooter. And you used to go up and down the roads not there. And even your friends and all go to that skate park in Bangor here. It's a big place owned by former Formula 1 driver Eddie Irvine. It's like a skate park thing. I mean, all them boys go to them half pipes, not a big indoor skate park they have, and they all wear helmets, so what's the difference? Oh, but they're not out. People are, listen, I said to him, and people out there, younger listeners are probably listening to me now and going, Matthew, you're being a bit harsh. Bottom line is, son, you're not driving that scooter without a helmet. And he just looked at me and went, oh, but you're going to embarrass me and you're going to make me... Listen, that's going at a very fast speed, and if you come off that, oh, but nobody else wears them. I mean, I don't care. I'm trying to keep you safe from falling and hurting yourself permanently. But talking to him about that, it's like talking to a brick wall. So it is. So we had this big debate in Halfords. Couldn't get one that fitted him. Couldn't get one that obviously fitted his head perfectly. So we're going to another bike shop probably before the end of the week. So his scooter at the moment is at home, and it's not going out the door until he gets a new helmet. Now, a lot of you younger listeners out there who listen to the podcast are probably saying to themselves, oh, you're being a bit harsh. He doesn't need to wear a helmet. Let me tell you something. I'm trying to keep my son safe, and I don't care if it doesn't look cool, it doesn't look hip. You can laugh all you want, and at the end of the day, I don't care. Lewis's safety is more important than what some teenage boys laughing at in a classroom at school or out in the street with his mates going, oh, you look stupid because you got to wear a helmet. Let me tell you something. You come off your electric scooter and whack your head off the curb like my friend did when I went to school with at 25 years of age and died, then you go ahead and do that. Even the guy in Halfords was saying to him, it's not even just you coming off the scooter, it's the people who are around you. Like, for example, say you're driving down a road or whatever, or somebody knocks you off it, banging into you with something else, or somebody steps out in front of you and you fall off it or whatever. You gotta be keep yourself protected. But again, Lewis being a stubborn me so-and-so, was arguing with me in the middle of Halfords, and I just told him straight, you either wear a helmet or you don't drive the scooter. Simple as. So, but I want to ask you, the listener, what you think of that there. Anybody out there who bought their kids electric scooters, or you drive an electric scooter, what you think of it? Drop me a message, guys. I would appreciate to hear your feedback on that, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to keep my son safe, and the sooner he realises that, the better. Now, I want to obviously talk about... A lot of you have been asking me about this program, Love Island. Where did I get started with this? It started, was it yesterday? Monday? I think, or Sunday, whenever it started. I don't even know what even started or not, I'm not too sure, but a lot of you have been asking me on social, who do you think is going to win Love Island this year? Who do you want to see in Love Island this year? Do you watch Love Island? I think I've talked about this in the podcast before. Guys, I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in this program, Love Island. I think, honestly, it is full of fake plastic people, airheads, egotistical morons who are sent onto an island, pretty boys, Barbie girls, just this whole... I don't care what anybody says to me about this program, what I say about this. I really don't care, to be quite honest. But I have no interest in this program. I'll never have interest in this program. I mean, even when the last one was on, I remember being on a car journey coming back home from Belfast with a couple of boys from the Welders, and they were all in the car. Even the guy who was driving the car, who's probably, I think he's older than me, they're all like, oh, Love Island, did you watch it? And this happened to this, and this one's backstabbing this one, and this one's doing... And I'm going to myself, lads, seriously? Wind your freaking neck in Love Island? What? I have no interest whatsoever to watch Love Island. I even look at it, and you see all these wee girls running around going, oh my God, like, seriously? It's like so... Like, what the... Seriously? I have absolutely... It's like, for example... Big Brother is another one where at the very start Big Brother was good. The first couple of seasons was good, and then it got crap. It literally got rubbish, where they were bringing in all these drama queens and all these different people that were just like, what in the name of God are they doing with this show? And now all these shows being too PC, politically correct, and all this nonsense about, oh, you can't say that, it hurts my feelings, and you can't do that now. And it's like, it's full of people who are just literally drama queens. And it just matches this generation of drama queen millennial people who run around thinking the world spins around them and everything's about them and everything else. And it's just like, reality TV shows don't do it for me anymore, guys, because it's just too... It's hard to watch. It's like pulling out teeth. So it is. I cannot watch Love Island. Even if you paid me, I can't watch it. I just can't. Now, last night when Brooke came in from work, she was sitting on the sofa and she mentioned Love Island, and I'm just like, Brooke, I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in Love Island. I have no intentions of watching Love Island. I would rather go and pull my teeth out with a pair of pliers than watch flipping Love Island. It's full of drama queens and morons and people who are just up their own ass, like pretty boys with their fake tan and their big white bright teeth, and girls running around with their massive long fake nails and their eyelashes and their earrings that are so big you could probably hang 2 budgies off each ear, with their tons of fake tan looking bright orange like an Oompa Loompa out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and run around like, oh my god, seriously, the world spins around me. And I just can't stand programs like that. I'm sorry for anybody there who watches Love Island, and if you don't agree with what I say, then that's your opinion. So to answer your question, I will never watch Love Island. I tried to watch it once last year, the year before. It was on, and I tried to watch an episode one night with Sandra, and I just looked at her and went, not a chance. I watched about 2 minutes of it, and I went, done, and I walked out of the room. Cannot watch reality shows for me now are just not the same anymore. They're crap. Even Big Brother apparently is making a comeback this year, and I will probably not watch it. I haven't watched Big Brother for a long time because now it's just full of airheads and drama queens and attention seekers. And you know, back in the first couple of series as a Big Brother, you had pretty decent, normal people. Now you've got all these wee millennial people who run around, and it's just hard to watch. I can't watch it anymore. I would rather, you know, sit and cry and pull my teeth out with pliers than watch that. I couldn't. Not my cup of tea. Sorry. Anybody there who loves Love Island, that's your choice. Me personally, no thank you. I would rather watch paint dry. Go out and cut the grass with a pair of scissors. No thank you. Not my cup of tea. So, right guys, I'm not talking about... I'm going to get so slated for this. I really don't care. Bring it on. I really don't care. Yes, guys, this past early hours of Friday morning, we unfortunately had the passing of Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, who passed away, which was very, very sad because I was sitting having a few beers on Thursday night and I was listening to the news and stuff on the radio, because what I normally do on a Thursday night is I normally sit and have a few beers, and I listened to a local radio station here in Northern Ireland called U105, and the guy who does presenting on there, a fellow called Jerry Lang, I would normally send a wee text in on a Thursday night, and he would give us a wee shout out in the radio every Thursday night. Big shout out to Jerry, by the way, good lad, so he is. I was just listening to the news throughout the night and stuff as I was listening to the radio and whatever, and I heard obviously she was in hospital and whatever else, and then the early hours of the morning, before I went to bed, I think it was around about 1 o'clock or something in the morning, I heard that she passed away. Now, everybody obviously knows who Lisa Marie Presley is, obviously daughter of famous, God, couldn't even say famous, just icon, Elvis Presley, just a complete icon of music. Now here's a wee story for you about that. I was always told when I was younger that apparently if I was born a girl, I was going to be called Lisa, after Lisa Marie Presley. So there's a story for you. Whether that's true or not, I remember Mum and Dad telling me that when I was a kid. But Lisa Marie Presley unfortunately passed away. For what it was reading, it was cardiac arrest at the age of 54. Like 54. Like that is so young. Like 54 years of age. Obviously she's famous. Obviously she was married to Michael Jackson at one point. She has been reported in the press and media in the last couple of years. Apparently she's had a few, so to say, ups and downs. In rehab a few times. Apparently she was taking a bit of drugs, whatever else, and apparently it's all caught up with her, and she passed away early hours of our time, UK time, Friday morning at the age of 54, which was unfortunate, guys, because so young to be taken away. You know, I always remember that they brought a video out a few years ago of her, the collab, of a video of like her and her dad. They looked like they were singing together, which was absolutely spectacular. Me personally, growing up, guys, my dad's dad's a huge Elvis fan. Dad loved Elvis. I was brought up around Elvis, watching all his movies with Dad growing up, and his concerts, his famous concert in Hawaii, which is the famous concert, as I always remember growing up, and Dad used to have it on the old VHS tapes. It was a great concert back in the day. Big Dad's a big Elvis fan. He's always wanted to go to Graceland. I always say to him, like, you know, Dad, you should go. You know, he was contemplating going, before COVID came around, and then obviously he changed his mind. But I've always said to Dad, you know, Dad, you need to go to Graceland before it's too late, because at the end of the day, nobody knows what's around the corner. Like, Dad's a huge Elvis fan. Dad actually has a record collection of 6 LPs. And when you bring them out of the box, it's in a complete immaculate condition. It's probably worth an absolute fortune. When you bring the LPs out of, they've never been played, by the way, these LPs, and they're still in the box, like brand new. You bring these LPs out and you turn them, you flip them round to the back of the cover, and you put them together, and it comes a 6-piece picture of Elvis in his famous, like, white outfit from, I guess, was it from the Hawaii concert back in the day? I think it's his famous white Elvis suit anyway. Always remember that growing up as a kid. My dad's had that since I was a kid, even before probably, I think. And, you know, the memories I have of obviously Elvis, growing up around him, listening to him, watching all his movies and things like that there. And then obviously we hear about then he has a child, which was obviously Lisa Marie, and unfortunately she's had her up and downs over the years herself, which is disappointing to see. It's just, I was reading a wee article the other day written by a girl, she's an entertainment and arts reporter, Helen Bushley, and I was just reading what she obviously wrote about her. It's just obviously sad to see, so it is, but no, down at the age of 54, guys, so young. So it is, so young, and taken so young. But again, when you go down a certain road of life, obviously you know, it does catch up with you. So it does, and obviously we send our thoughts and prayers to the family. It's just, she never really had much, she's had a really difficult time as of late. I mean, I've wrote down a few wee notes here from that article I read the other day, guys. I just want to read it out to you here. Helen Bushley, she's an entertainment and arts reporter. Just came across her wee article the other day. It's just said here, Lisa Marie died at the age of 54, stepped out of her father's shadow with her own music, but experienced more than her fair share of tragedy and heartbreak in her life, which is, you always hear about her stories throughout the years. She's obviously dealt with death and grief and loss since the age of 9, which was just, it's hard to deal with when you're a 9-year-old. She mentioned this last August to a reporter. She was only 9 when Elvis passed away. And obviously she was 52 when her son Benjamin was he killed himself in 2020. I don't know why you remember hearing about that story, guys. Which was Elvis's grandson. He passed away in 2020, which was just sad. She's been married 4 times, including Michael Jackson she's been married to, and Nicolas Cage as well she was married to. Her mum was, obviously, all know who her famous mum was, Priscilla. She spent the first 4 years of her life at the Graceland mansion, which is obviously where her father's, is he buried there or his ashes are scattered there? I'm not too sure. It's just obviously so sad. She's been through a lot of stuff. Elvis got divorced in 1973. It just goes on and on this article here, guys. That it goes on here to say about in 2003 she wrote to the Los Angeles Times whenever her father passed away. She was sent to multiple private schools as well. She's been through a lot. She claimed herself she was a bit of a loner back in the day. It's just so sad, guys. If you want to read the article, you can. If you want to just search up on Google, the reporter's name, Helen Bushley, Bushby, on their whole story about the whole way she lived her life. And I mean, obviously she was in the shadow of her father for a long time, but then obviously she started creating her own music and stuff. But I watched an interview with her, I watched a public appearance of her about 4 or 5 days before she passed away. She was meeting people in the street and she was talking to people and whatever else. So sad, guys. It just goes to show you. So it does that, you know, whatever role of life you take in your life, at the end of the day, you know, nobody knows when your time's up. And I've learned that personally recently. Obviously over the last few years with losing my best friend, who was only in his late or mid-30s at the time. He passed away suddenly. Other people have heard of, like, recently on social media. Some people I've heard dying recently has just been, like, out of the blue. Like, just randomly passed away out of the blue. And this is why I've always done this for years, even since my kids were small as well. I've been taking my kids regularly once a year to the doctor to get checked over for all the 5 minutes it takes, guys. You know, and go and get myself checked over, make sure everything's okay and there's no issues and everything's fine and there's no problems there and whatever else. So it just takes for all 5 minutes, guys, to get checked. There's people out there who don't do it. But again, you could do all that, and then at the end of the day, the next minute, you could go to bed and not wake up again, or you could have an accident, or you could fucking die, or whatever it is. This is why I've always said, now I've been through a lot of BS in my time, especially in recent years, going through the likes of a divorce and, you know, all the different things I've been through, like relationship breakups and money issues and mental health problems back 10 years ago and all different things that I've been through over the years. And I always say to myself, you know something, life is too damn short. And when I heard this the other day about Lisa Marie passing away at the age that she did pass away, okay, she might have lived a certain lifestyle and she might have made some wrong decisions and whatever else. You know, at the end of the day, I always say, when the big man upstairs calls your number, it's time to go. And there's nothing you can do about it. And every time I speak to someone, whether it be a friend or whatever else, I was texting a friend yesterday who lives a life where she constantly is on the go and she never has time for herself because she looks after her own kids and, you know, and she never has time for anything for herself. She just said to me the other day, she's making more time for herself now and she's out doing different things on her own now and she's trying to... All I replied to her was, listen, do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Life is too damn short. And at the end of the day, in recent years, I've lost friends too soon. Like, literally too soon. Give you an example. A friend of mine who, I'll not mention his name, but people who live in Northern Ireland probably heard this story before. It was all over the news as well. Known him for a long time. He never seen him for a good few years, and he went and met this lovely girl, and he was a friend of mine. He was in the army for a few years and or sort of military things as well. So he had all his training and whatever else, and he got out all that, and he met this lovely girl, and they were together for a couple of years, and they got married, in a church, and the next day they went for their honeymoon, which they arrived at their location perfectly fine, checked into the hotel. The two of them decided, well, we'll go it's a beautiful day, let's go and have a wee dip our feet in the water at the sea here, and we'll go for a wee swim. Two of them went out, friend of mine who's fully trained. Obviously, he can swim and do everything else. He's quite responsible. Him and his wife went out for a nice wee swim. Didn't go out too far in the sea. And what happened? They got caught in the water, took them out to sea. The current took them out to the sea, and they both drowned. And 7 days to the day where they got married, 7 days exactly after they got married, they were back in that church again, here in Northern Ireland, both of them in a casket getting buried, which was heartbreaking. And I remember going to that service. There was TV cameras and everything outside that service, and the crowds were unbelievable. It was so sad. And that's, even back then, I realised life's too short, guys. It really, really, really is. And that's why even when you watch my vlogs and stuff, you see me, not so much recently now in the last few months, because obviously work's been quite busy and everything else has been quite busy-ish. You always see me with my kids. You can go back and watch all my vlogs over the years. You see us out doing silly things, like whether it be out for a walk or doing wee things, nights away, and doing all these different things with the kids. And even before we vlogged as well, I used to do a lot of things with the kids too. Because at the end of the day, guys, life's too bloody short. And going back to the whole Lisa Marie Presley thing as well, I mean, she's only 54. Okay, she made a few choices that obviously caught up with her in the end. But the point is, guys, I always say nowadays, life is for living. Okay, people make bad decisions. We all do. We've all made mistakes, but at the end of the day, you gotta live every day to the fullest, because at the end of the day, life's too short. And I always said this before to people: if the people who you love and the people who you want to be part of your life, and tell them you have to, because if you don't and say something, for God's sake, happens, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. That's the way I look at it. So life's too short. Take it by the horns and live it to the fullest. If you can, live it to the fullest you can. So, but the whole Lisa Marie thing was very, very sad. Obviously, here passing away, so young. You know what I mean? It's like 54. It's like, God damn, man, seriously, so young. Right, I'm going to go into some of your questions now, guys. Answer some of the questions, obviously more here on the podcast. Guys, don't forget, if you want to get in touch with me here at the podcast, you can certainly do it by email. We're on my podcast at yahoo.com, or you can get in touch with me with social media feeds. Love to hear from you all, as always. I'm going to go into the emails here first of all and have a look around here and see. Right, I've one here from Mike. Mike wants to know, hi Matthew, I've noticed on TikTok you have a profile, but you haven't posted in a long time. Will you ever consider using TikTok again, as I think it'd be a great platform for you to advertise your podcast and your vlog and anything else to do with the Moor Army. Keep up the good work, Mike. Mike, yes, I have considered going back on TikTok again. Yes, I do have an account on there. Yes, I want to advertise the vlogs on there. Yes, I want to advertise everything that's on there. Again, it's just getting the time to go back on there again. You know what I mean? So even Brooke and Lewis has even said to me, Daddy, you need to get back on the TikTok. You don't have to do stupid videos, but you could do stupid videos. I mean, I did do a couple of stupid videos on there during lockdown and stuff. But again, you know, it would be a great platform to obviously advertise the vlogs and advertise the channel and advertise the podcast and everything else that goes around with it. So, yeah, Mike, I will eventually get back on TikTok again. I do go on TikTok now and again whenever I'm, say, knocking about or I'm on a bus journey or whatever, just to watch wee silly videos, or then I would forward them on to Tony and have a laugh and a joke about certain wee things and whatever else. So I do use my account, but I don't obviously get as active on it as normal. But yeah, I will eventually get back on there again and start posting stuff, because at the end of the day, guys, it is another platform to advertise the channel and the Moor Army. And again, guys, just this last few months, just trying to keep on top of the Moor Army with vlogs and things like that and content and whatever else, because of work commitments and other things going on personally in my personal life, and it's just so hard to balance everything out at the minute, and I'm trying to find that balance, and eventually I will find that balance. But again, there's people say there, you know, all these famous TikTokers have all these different platforms. Yeah, but they got a team behind them. I have me behind it. So yes, Mike, I will eventually be back on TikTok. Don't you worry about that. I will be there eventually. When? I don't know. Probably soon. Because Brooke keeps bitching at me about it, going, Dad, get the videos on TikTok. Have a laugh. Have a joke. The joys. Right, let's get into another one here. Okay, I have one here from Justin. Justin says, "Hi Matthew, hope you're keeping well. Hope you and the family had a great Christmas." Thank you, Justin. What I just wanted to know was, you mentioned all the time on your videos and podcasts that you used to be a wrestler back in the day. That is true. Would you ever consider getting back into the ring again for one last match to perform in front of the Moore Army and your long-time followers? Also, what is your most... time to speak this morning. What is your most secret piece of wrestling merchandise you have? I have a signed picture from Seth Rollins. What is yours? Keep up the good work. My most prized possession, I've quite a few actually. I've got title belts. I have a chair from ringside of WrestleMania. I've been to WrestleMania a few times over the years. But probably my biggest thing I have right now is, and it's verified, it's legitimate, it's real, it's not a phony, it's not a copy, it's not use my language. I swore when I didn't. It's not fake, it's real. I paid a lot of money for it. It is a framed, verified by proper people who authority, like this JSA, or is it the other one from I can't remember. It is an official like pit thing, a signed frame picture of Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's my prized possession. I got that about 2 years ago, and it is my prized possession. I love it, the pieces. It's my baby, and I would not part with it anywhere. Have a lot of our stuff as well, guys, from over the years, like my 300 pop vinyl things collection from my collection I have. Wrestling belts, stuff from WrestleManias I've been to, a WrestleMania ringside chair. I've got loads of stuff. But my thing is that signed picture of Austin, which is my baby. It is my prized possession, and it will not go anywhere with me. It'll be mine forever. Until the day I go to the grave, it'll be mine. It'll probably get passed down to Lewis as well, but it's my baby, and I absolutely love it. So I do. Okay, one here from Christine. Christine wants to know, "Hi Matthew, just wanting to know, are you going to be doing any challenges on your YouTube channel? I see British YouTubers, the likes of Lab Baby and more, do all these random challenges on social media and beyond. Would you ever consider doing more challenges for your channel? Also, I love watching yourself, Lab Baby, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul's podcast Impulsive, and also I love the person who you met the most, who I met once before myself many years ago, Katie Hopkins." There you go. Well, Katie Hopkins is a very controversial individual, but yes, I've met Katie Hopkins, and yes, she has been on my vlog. So there you go. A lot of people out there don't like her, so I don't agree with a lot of things she says, I've said before, but she was nice to us that time we met her last year. Challenges, yes, certainly. Again, it's just trying to find the time, and yes, Brooke keeps coming at me all the time going, "Have you seen this new challenge? There's another one, is this one at the minute? What's it called? It's like a dancing challenge where they're all sort of like moving a certain way." And like Brooke came in to me a couple of Thursday nights ago when I was having a beer or two, or a couple of Thursday nights ago. She came in. Was it before Christmas or after Christmas? I can't remember. She says, "Daddy, can we make this silly video?" I can't even remember what the song's called, but it's like a dancing trend at the minute. And I'm like, okay, so should we do it? Should we not do it? I may even say to her today, actually, to wind her up, just to try and do it, because she wants me to do it on her TikTok account. Brooke's rejoined TikTok, by the way, guys. I don't think she's posted many things on it, to be honest. She did make a silly video now yesterday with her friend Holly, She showed me the video yesterday. We're doing a recreation of a High School Musical dance thing, whatever it was. Now, she hasn't posted it on TikTok. She used the app for to record it, but I said to her, break your tit. But no, challenges and stuff like that. And you mentioned Lab Baby. I watched Lab Baby. He's a good lad. So he is, Lab Baby. Mark and Roxy, good people. So they are. Get a lot of grief sometimes from people as well. But they're just honest people who have been quite lucky and fortunate and have done well for themselves. So fair play to them. And, you know, they've done very, very well. Some of the videos they do are silly, and there's a lot of them I do like wet myself laughing because the way she tries to do all these dances and challenges, and he's just looking at her going like, really, love? They are funny though. And the stuff that they do for the Trussell Trust food banks, they've been Christmas #1 4 years in a row now, is it? Yeah. And the way they're trying to raise money for homeless people and stuff in the UK, which is great. And they are legitimate. A lot of people I've seen online leaving comments about them over the years saying that they're not real and they're fake. But then, guys, you get that everywhere you go when you become a public figure. You know, people saying like, "Oh, you're not real, you're fake, you're doing this, you're doing that. All you care about yourself." But no, okay, whatever. It's just jealousy. But no, they're good people. So they are, Lab Baby, and fair play to them. So they are coming from a normal housing estate in Nottingham to do what they've done now. Fair play to them. So they are fair play to them. But yeah, challenges maybe one day. Yes, I'll start doing them. Done a couple during lockdown, but I was watching one of the older videos the other night, really old fight. We've done that. Remember that thing, pie face, back in the day. Me, Brooke and Lewis, like small Brooke and Lewis, doing at the kitchen table, pie face. God, do you remember that? I remember it like it was yesterday. Gee whiz, where's all those years gone to? Then me and Dad done the tin can challenge. It's on the YouTube channel. Done that a few years ago. Tin can challenge where we opened up all these different. Oh God, I ended up with so much crap. I think Dad ended up eating cat food that day. It's on the channel, guys. Go back and watch it. Trust me, it's hilarious. Like Dad has a stomach like a waste skip. But yeah, oh the joys. But challenges, yes. Eventually, one day, I will be doing more challenges on the channel. Maybe not doing it on TikTok. I want to say, do you know something? The hell with it. I want to say to Brooke today about that stupid dance. And I'll post it all over the place and get it out for a laugh. Just to entertain you, the audience. How's that sound? I'll say to her today. In fact, I'll send her a text after I get off recording this podcast this morning. So I will. The things you got to do to keep the punters happy. Believe me, the joys. Okay, let's get into our email here. Let's have one here. I've got one here from Wayne. Wayne wants to know, hi Matthew, just wanted to ask a quick question for the podcast. What has been your favourite childhood memory growing up, and who is your childhood hero? Thanks for all the great content, Wayne. Favourite childhood memory? My God. That's a good question. This is where my old age is kicking in here now. I don't know. I have a lot of good childhood memories, like Christmas times, and I remember the first time I got picked for the school football team. I thought it was great. My childhood memories, just great things like hanging out with my friends, playing football. My friend who's no longer with us anymore, my friend Ricky, hanging out with him. Memories growing up in Belfast, obviously getting certain things at Christmas time and playing football in the summer. And for fun memory, I think I told this story before on the podcast, where back in the day, every summer when I lived in Belfast, I always remember it like it was yesterday, where a couple of young and older lads, should we say, used to go to one of the local DOE offices or DOE depots where they used to keep the vans and all the equipment and stuff for the DOE, you know, like the water board people. And they used to go in every year. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they used to manage to pinch or steal, whatever you want to call it, one of these big keys that used to put down the big drains to turn, and they used to like open up the grating, these certain gratings, not the ones that you see on the side of the roads like here in Northern Ireland where the water just drains down, that's it. These are our ones. It's like a long thin grating. You used to open it up and put this big silver key into it and turn it, and you turned it a certain way to create all the water to come out like a big water fountain. And I always remember every summer in the estate, back in the day, you used to always find it somehow, some way, somebody always managed to do it. And they used to open it up, and the water used to go everywhere. And it was like, what the hell? And boys used to run through the water fountain and used to be soaked to the skin, and it was just great times because it was always warm. And I always remember some summers up in Belfast back in the day, it was so hot. My God, it was hot. And then water fountain, and your mum used to shout, "Get you away from there, I don't want you getting in trouble, blah, blah, blah." But all the kids in the estate loved it, and they thought, big water fountain, it's warm day, let's go and run through it and all. And, you know, it was just one of those childhood memories. And another one I used to have childhood memories of as well was where when you used to walk through the estate in Belfast, you used to see, you don't see this anymore, so where kids don't do this anymore because they're too busy entwined with their electronic devices and their mobile phones and their gaming consoles and their electric scooters like Lewis. The old rope tied around the lamppost, where somebody managed to tie a big rope around the lamppost, and whoever could climb lampposts, we used to wrap their legs around it and climb up the lamppost, kind of like a monkey at the zoo. Used to climb up the very top. It used to push the rope up to the very, 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 very top and get it so tight where it made this big giant swing, where kids used to swing around the lamppost all the time. That was great memories, obviously. But my memories as a childhood was obviously, you know, like Lewis trigger one of my childhood memories growing up at Christmas time when he brought me that old game for Christmas, FIFA 95. It was another memory I always remember. But just growing up in general, you know, having fun with my friends and hanging out, and, you know, me and Ricky used to go around on weekends when we were teenagers trying to chase girls, and, you know, chasing girls back then was completely different than chasing girls now. Because obviously it's a different way now, but it's just a lot of great memories, just a few, but it's just I always remember this one memory where when I lived in Belfast, I think I was about P5 or P6, and I decided in my head, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I decided to have a disco in my back garden during the summer. It was during the summer, or was it coming up this summer? And I invited all these people from my school and all to be there, and there's this one girl I used to like, and I had this big crush on her. I always remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember trying to get myself all nicely dressed up and all, and trying to impress her when she came to my back garden disco, whatever it was. I think it was around about, 1990? So it was. And it didn't work out. Even though I had a nice shirt on, nice trousers and all, and had my hair and all combed, even though I did have hair back then. But my fond memories of it is like trying to impress this girl, which didn't work. And she ended up going off with some other guy. So that was a childhood memory that's not a very nice one, but I always remember sitting on the big wall in the back garden of my house, sitting there just in absolute state because I was so upset because this girl wasn't impressed who I was and whatever else, and then she ended up going off with someone else. So that was a childhood memory that I don't like to remember. But yeah, that's another childhood memory. But yeah, I've got so many. But again, I could sit here all day talking about loads of them. So I've got loads of memories from back in the day. So, and I got loads more stories I want to tell here on the podcast too. So yeah, well, thanks for your question anyway. I do appreciate it. Right, let's get into social media. Let's get into Instagram, because I have got quite a lot of Instagram messages I want to get through to here. Right, I got one here from a regular listener and viewer who I recognise the name right away, Ram McCauley. He asked me to mention on the podcast last Thursday for what I see here. He turned 16 last, what day was it? Thursday? Yeah, it was last Thursday. So it was his 16th birthday, so happy birthday. Hope you had a great birthday. It's one of my younger listeners. And then he sent me another message yesterday saying, hope you are keeping well. I have a question for tomorrow's podcast. How can fans send letters to you? P.O. box address, I'm trying to get that set up. Do you see the price of a P.O. box address now? Like, it's unbelievable. I'm trying to figure out another way to get that done. And what is your favourite Netflix show? His is called Wednesday. That's that program Brooks watching at the minute. You should give it a watch. And also, can you check out my YouTube channel? I already did check out your YouTube channel before, Ryan. But happy birthday for last week. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Hope you had a good day, and hope you get spoiled rotten. And we've been obviously a long time viewer of the channel, so you have, because you've been sending me messages for a couple of years now. What's my favourite Netflix show? Let me think. I don't really watch Netflix much, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, Ryan, I don't really watch Netflix. Brooke watches it more than me. I watch. There's quite a lot of things on there. There's like football documentaries I've watched on there or whatever, and I don't really get a chance to watch much TV, to be quite honest with you. I prefer to watch all the classic programs on Netflix, but to be honest with you, I don't have a specific show that I listen to. That's being totally honest with you. Wednesday, Brooke keeps saying about Wednesday because she watched it, and I've seen a few people mention it on social media that I should watch this program Wednesday. Maybe I should. It's Wednesday from the Addams Family, but it's a separate series, for what I remember speaking to Brooke about it. But apparently it is good. A lot of people have been talking about it, so they have. So anyway, thanks for your question, Ron. I hope you had a great birthday, and I hope you get spoiled rotten. And thank you for being a loyal supporter of the Moore Army. I do appreciate it, because I know who you are, because you message me quite a bit, and you've been following me for quite a while now. So thank you so much for all your support. I do appreciate it. And he's probably one of the longest Moore Army followers. I think he's been following us for quite a few years now. So he has. So thank you very much for all your support. I do appreciate it. Right, let's get into another one here. Nathan wants to know, hi Matthew, I know you've been talking quite a lot about Prince Harry and Meghan on your podcast, and I agree with 99.9% of the things that you say about them. I think they're two egotistical morons. I want to know, will you be purchasing Harry's new book to read? If so, give a review on it in the podcast, but make sure it's the Unleashed podcast so you can say whatever you feel. Okay. That's what I was supposed to talk about last week on the podcast. Harry brought a book out. People are like, some people are flocking to the shelves. Like, why? You're just filling his ego, and you're filling his pockets even more. Like, am I going to get his book? Well, unless I run out of toilet paper. But I don't really fancy wiping my backside with actual proper paper. I done that once years ago when I was younger with newspaper, and it cut the ass clean off me. Will I be buying his new book? Hell no. Will I be listening to the audiobook of it online? Hell no. Do I support them too? Hell no. That honestly, the royal family doesn't appeal to me anymore. And I actually saw it the last few days floating around on the internet. Should the royal family respond to what they're saying about them and blah 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 blah? Whatever. They're all just Harry. See, to be honest with you, and I'm going to be honest again, but I'm going to keep it clean. So I'm going to keep it clean. In my opinion, if he wasn't with her, he would be grand. If his mother was still around to this day, she wouldn't be with him. After everything that she has said, in my opinion, if his mother was still around, she'd have slapped her one and told her where to go. And that's me being totally honest with you, because at the end of the day, Meghan is a drama queen. And the thing that annoyed me yesterday, actually, funny enough, was hearing that Jeremy Clarkson, of all people, who's openly spoken about all this stuff about her, has now apologised. Really? Why are you apologising for telling the truth? She's a drama queen. She thinks the world spins round her. That Netflix documentary series is a nightmare. I've watched the first 10 minutes of it and turned it off because I couldn't watch it. I see people on social media like saying, oh my God, it was so good to watch. You should support them. And what planet do you live on? Like, seriously? She's an actress. She's a drama queen. She's an egotistical maniac who walks around thinking everything's all about her and the world spins round her and everything's always about her. I'm sorry. No, it's not. See, people like her who walk around belong on programs like Love Island, who think the world spins around them and they're like living in their wee bubble and everything's all about them. And oh my God, really? Seriously? No, not my cup of tea. So I'll answer your question. Will I be buying their book? No, I won't be. Sorry. I will not be buying the book. I will not be watching any of that Netflix series. And honestly, I think he's better off without her. Now, I'm not saying that the rest of the royal family are sweet and innocent and the sun shines out of their backside, because we all know that that's not the case. You know, with Prince Andrew and obviously all the controversy with Charles and Camilla and all the royal family and all that there. But I mean, I get people all the time contacting me saying, oh, you know, like an email I read it the other week from that girl who wrote me an email the other week saying that she believes that the stress from Harry and Meghan caused the Queen to go downhill and pass away. And obviously it led towards the death of her husband and blah, 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 blah. That's people's opinion. But at the end of the day, I think they're two ego-driven maniacs who think the world spins around them. Like, for example, I've said this before, they go on to this, like, interview crap and go, oh, we want to be private. We don't want to be bothered by anyone. We don't want to be just left on our own. We don't want the paparazzi following us, and we just want to be left alone. And then they go and release a freaking documentary series all about their lives, which is then going to draw more attention to them and more paparazzi. Oh, their heads are so far up their ass. And if they sneeze, the pressure will equalise and they'll blow out their own backside. So they will. It's unbelievable that they're at it. It's not even more Harry, it's more Meghan. She's just... Oh. Anyway, sorry for the rant. But, yeah, I will not buy the book. Sorry, no interest. Not intending to. Can't be bothered. Not my cup of tea. Sorry. Anybody there who's bought the book, let me know what you think about it, and I'll read your email out on the podcast. No thank you. Not my cup of tea. I would rather sit at home and, I don't know, watch paint dry, cut the grass with a pair of scissors. I don't know. Go and swim in shark-infested waters with meat tied around my ankles. No thank you. Not my cup of tea. No thank you. Moving on. Thanks for your Instagram message, by the way. But moving on. Sorry. It's just when I see anything about them two on the TV, I just automatically switch it off because they're just egotistical morons. So they are. So, right, I got one here from Naomi. Wants to know, hey Matthew, want to know your opinion on this shop in England with selling prime drinks for extreme prices. Have you seen any of the videos on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc.? Do you reckon this is just a ploy to get his business advertised, or do you think he's legitimately selling the drink prime for extreme prices? Well, I was actually talking the other day about... Who was I talking to the other day about that? I can't even remember. There's a little shop in England. I can't even remember the name of it now. It's popped up on TikTok a couple of times. It's popped up on Instagram. Even ITV, I saw on a video on Instagram Reels or something last week. ITV tried to go and get an interview with this people as well. There's like this wee shop. I don't know why is it in London, I think? And they're doing all these videos that seem to be going around and being viral. Like people turning up from all over the country to buy this drink prime for extreme prices. And apparently they're paying mega bucks for this drink. Now everybody knows at the minute in the UK, everybody's fighting over this friggin' drink prime, which is doing my head in. Like seriously, they're all fighting over prime in the shops of Asda and all these different stores. Well, I think Asda's the only store actually sells it in the UK. And they're all fighting amongst themselves, and it's like this big rush to get this drink prime. What a load of nonsense. But anyway, this shop, and I think it's in London, I can't even remember the name, is it Brimley's or something, or whatever store it is. This wee man pops up with all these customers on the screen saying, you've bought this prime energy drink for how much? Up to £100, or you bought this bottle of prime for £100, blah, blah. And then it's actually got the attention of one of the guys who created Prime, KSI, and he's been putting out stuff saying, don't buy it for this price, blah, 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 blah. I've seen the videos. And I think it's a plot to try and get his business advertised. Like that one was advertised, was going around for a while there last summer. A chippy in England, is it Binley's Mega Chippy or something it's called? And somebody made up a wee song and it went viral, and everybody's piling down to this place called Binley's Mega Chippy or something, whatever it's called, and they're all outside getting all this food, and the chippies making an absolute fortune, and no doubt they're probably driving around a big fripping 2023 or 22 Mercedes Benz now and living in a nice big house now for all the money that they've made out of it. But yeah, I saw the videos. I personally think it's fake. I think they're just doing it to try and make a bit of money, or try to get a bit of popularity for their business. I saw the video on, I think it was an Instagram Reels, that said they're of ITV trying to go in and get an interview, and they said they refused to comment, and it's just like, no, I think it's a big plot to get attention on the business, and I think it's just a way for them to try and get their business more popularity, because apparently there's people outside queuing now to get all this stuff, and that's, again, it's just a viral thing going on. But even to talk about Prime itself, people are still fighting to get this drink. What is the big rush to get this drink? I tried a sip of one of Lewis's, and I was like, all this rush for this? And people are buying it and then selling it. Was it Aldi? Aldi are selling it too. That's where I saw that on Instagram Reels as well. People standing in queues, like long queues, just to buy this drink. I saw a video on TikTok. Actually, this guy, I can't remember his name. He's a reviewer. He gets the piss taken out of him all the time for putting stuff in the air fryer all the time on TikTok. I can't remember his name. He was standing outside an Aldi store one morning, like early in the morning, like 6 a.m. or something like that, when it opened up, and there's people standing outside and a ticket in queue. They had to have a ticket to get in the queue so you could get your allocated amount of bottles of Prime. Like, what is going on? Like, why? It's insane. Like, what the frick is going on? All over a drink. And then I saw another video of a guy from the UK with his missus inside a Walmart, or it's Asda over there, it's Walmart over in America. Crates and crates and pallets of Prime sitting there, and people are just like, yeah, it's Prime, whatever. And he does make a point. He turns around and says in the video, after this wild novelty wears off, this is what you'll see in the UK. Crates and pallets of it all sitting there, and people just like, yeah, whatever, it's Prime, whatever. It's because it's big YouTubers like KSI, Logan Paul, and all these people are like running around beating the head of each other trying to get this drink, and it's just like, why are you doing this? Like, seriously, it's a drink. It's a drink. Oh my God. Oh, I don't know. The novelty will wear off. So it will. But if I saw the videos, yes, I've saw the videos at me shop in London. I think it's crazy. So we'll do the way they're all, and if they were legitimately paying that amount of money for a drink, they need their head looked at. I think the men with the white coats and the net need to come and take them people away to the wee room with padded walls. Like people paying £100 for a bottle of drink or £1,000 for a crate of it. Need their head looked at. But fair play to these people if they're putting these videos out to get their business advertised or get their business eyeballs on the product, which is the smart way to do it. But again, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, that's a stupid way to do it. Everybody has their opinion on it. But the fact that he's got the attention of KSI himself, which is a very popular YouTuber, and obviously what he's doing is obviously getting the attention. So he's obviously getting more punters through the door. So there you go. But things like that, I just sort of go, dead on. That's fine. You go ahead and do that. If it gets your eyeballs in the product or gets your people through the door, then you go ahead and you knock yourself out. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end it now. So I'm going to wrap it up here because I've been on the air nearly an hour now. So I'm going to wrap it up and head down the road here now. But guys, don't forget this Thursday I'm back for an Unleashed podcast where I've got some interesting stuff I want to talk about. Maybe tell a few more stories, answer some more emails, and I can be more free. Yes, I can speak more freely on Thursday. But one thing if you look forward to go as well, guys, if you are getting snow, if you are in here in the UK or Ireland or whatever, and you have got snow or really bad frost like I have here at the minute outside my home, if you're out and about, please be careful while you're driving, walking, or whatever it is you're doing. Please be careful, guys, because it is cold out there. Like, yesterday, I seen 2 or 3 gritters come past me in as many minutes, gritting the roads and whatever else. So just be very, very careful, because the snow, there's certain parts of the country has snow. They are forecasting for snow here in Northern Ireland, but I don't think everywhere in Northern Ireland is going to get snow, to be quite honest. But it is very, very frosty. It's very, very cold and very slippy, and the temperatures are dropping. So please be careful out there, guys. Especially when you're driving and whatever else. So please be careful out there. By the way, guys, don't forget, if you want to get in touch with me for Thursday's podcast, email moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, the social media links, which is Instagram, official Matthew Moore, and Moor Army YouTube channel on Facebook. Please like the page on Facebook. I really would appreciate it. I'm going to drop another vlog today, guys, which we recorded yesterday, where you'll see me and Lewis debating about helmets and picking up a scooter. We actually went out for coffee as well. What else did we do? We went sofa shopping. Yes, I'm trying to get a new sofa. Seen some really cool ones actually as well. Ran into a friend of ours as well. So that vlog should be out today. And then Liverpool are playing tonight in the FA Cup against Wolves. So we're hoping to do a live reaction video tonight for that. So that'll be on the channel too as well. So a lot of great content coming out on the channel over the next few days. And yes, I will speak to Brooke today when she comes home about that bloody TikTok video. Try and figure out how to do that dance. If you want to follow me on TikTok, you can. I think it's official Matthew Moore on TikTok, for what I remember. Yeah, follow me on TikTok. So, right, guys, I'm going to head down the road here now. So thanks for listening once again. Do appreciate it. Thanks for your time. For listening to me here on Apple Music or iTunes, Spotify, and also on you. And if you're listening to me on YouTube as well, guys, please don't forget, drop a subscribe here on the YouTube channel as well. And you want to get all your merch, moorarmy.co.uk as well for all your merch and more. Right, I'm going to head down the road here now, guys. So hope you all have a good Tuesday. Be safe out there. If any cold weather nearby or whatever, be safe. And until Thursday, guys, enjoy your Tuesday and your Wednesday. And I'll see you back here on Thursday. Thanks for listening, guys.